everybody, Baztopia back again with another episode of Banished. This is episode 5, I believe. And in our last episode, people died. And they died a lot. That's okay, I had a good laugh with it. And it does make things kind of challenging, But one thing you can kind of think of when your people die off like that, especially in the early game, is just think of it as you're starting over with slightly more resources, because we have a lot more food. A lot of our people died. I mean, that's probably why we have so much food now. I mean, we added an apiary and added more people to our fishing dock and gatherer's hut, but really what probably made this number grow so much is the fact that we culled half of our population. So so it's bad, but it really did help us in the long run, probably have a stronger game. Our people were breeding so fast that they were outgrowing the services they had around. So hopefully this will get things on track, and we'll be doing better. One thing we really need is tools, and we also really need some clothing. The tools we can fix. We have everything we need to actually do that. We just got to build the buildings to make those resources. When it comes to clothing, it's a little bit more of an issue. We don't really have a whole lot to make clothing. We do have some sheep, so we do have a minor amount of wool, so we will be able to make some sweaters, that kind of thing. But that's really about it. We don't have any other source of things to do it. So one thing we're going to have to do is probably build a hunting lodge, because we're going to need leather. That's one source of building clothes. And some of these supply chains could have changed in this version of Colonial Charter, and I may not even be able to build clothing directly from leather. We'll have to see. But I expect that we can. The best thing we could do is get over here and get our trader up and going so that we can start trading for some of those resources that we need and don't have to continue collecting those resources on our own. Either resources to make clothes or clothes directly. I'd rather make the clothes and sell our excess. To me, that seems like the best thing to do. But we'll see. We'll see where this takes us. Some of this is dictated by randomness. I did want to zoom in really quick and just kind of show you the apiary and the way this works. Middle mouse button, by the way, will allow you to rotate around. Can't change the camera angle too much, but you can do that. And you can see we've got little beehives, and people are actually over here working. I really love that. You can see there's honeycomb that is being made there. And if we look, we did pretty good. The beeswax is something we're going to be able to use to trade away. It only sells for 1, I believe. But the other thing we could be doing with that is making candles. And early game, we're not going to have a lot of use for candles. Candles are something you can use to upgrade mines, so you can make them deeper, because you need light to see. But candles sell for a good amount. So I want to say that they sell for like 15 or something like that, but they don't take 15 beeswax to make. So that could be really cool. We may experiment around with that. And one thing I was just sitting here thinking as I zoomed in, and I looked, if you see right here, there's a little something there, and I remember I showed you this new tool that's in this version of Colonial Charter called Collect Wild Foods. And guess what? That's food. And there's apparently a couple of food here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to collect that food. But that means we probably didn't need to starve and all of our people die off. We should have been collecting wild food, so don't make the same mistake I did. Use this tool that's available. If you're getting down on your food population, or your food at that rate, make sure you do that. And get some stuff. Get some food from it. And you can see our little ducks flying around, and something a lot of people on Reddit have been complaining about is, look at how slow he's moving. It's like, what kind of duck moves that slow? Our hunters ought to have no problem catching them. So, we may actually build that hunting cabin and be able to actually get us some ducks and some deer. I haven't actually seen any deer, though, the more I think about it. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. So that could be interesting. We'll have to check into that. Mention is, I did see on Reddit where one of the developers of Colonial Charter said that when the mod does go live, it will require a brand new save game. You won't be able to utilize an existing game, so I won't be able to continue this map. Once the mod goes live, I'll have to start over. But that's okay. A lot of the fun is really in the beginning of the game anyways, and then, you know, once you get it up and running and everything's self-sustaining, there's not a whole lot to do except for just continue to make it look pretty, and that's kind of fun, but we'll probably start a new game whenever that comes out. But for now, we'll be doing it. I noticed here we're 12 of 12 on our sheep. So if I click on here, ah yes, we've got mutton and bone meal. Bone meal is not something we'll probably be utilizing anytime soon. You can use it at the apothecary, I believe. Let's see, the health, yeah, apothecary. We can't build that yet. We're a ways off from build that probably. Building supplies is something it needs. That's a time-intensive resource. But they make things from bone meal and things of that nature. Eye of newt and that kind of deal. So that's something we'll probably be taking a look at later on, but not right now. We do need an herbalist. Let's see, our health is not so bad at the moment that I don't think I'm going to build that just yet. At some point we will want to build churches, keep our people happy, and some education. But we really need the laborers right now, so we're not going to worry about educating anybody. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to build a furnace of some sort, and quite honestly, I'm not 100% certain how I'm going to do that. So I need to look. Stack burners. So stack burners will allow us to produce some furnace fuel, I believe. But we're going to need lumber to do that. So we need to build lumber. Let's see, how are we going to build that lumber, you ask? Not sure. Here we go. So, lumber, construction, and materials. Where else would it have been? So we can either build a small saw pit, which will allow us to just create a minor amount of wood. We can build a sawmill. Let's take a look at that, just see what this looks like. Again, R will let you rotate buildings around. Kind of an idea what that looks like. That's a pretty cool looking building, actually. I really like it. Maybe we'll do that. It'll let you do firewood or lumber, so that's nice. We also have the sawmill. The downside of the sawmill is you have to build it on the water, but it looks really cool. The only real issue I have with the sawmill is they don't have any way to make it. I'll see still though. Let's just try to show it to you. They don't have any way to make that wheel actually animate. That kind of stinks. But it looks cool nonetheless. It requires 80 logs and 30 stone versus just 110 logs. And we're kind of low on stone. I mean, we can easily get some more, but I think I'm going to build just the regular old sawmill for now. And so I think what I want to do is I want to build them pretty close to this area here. Instead of putting in a wood chopper, we'll just do this. We'll switch them back and forth probably between cutting firewood and cutting lumber. And the same trick will work with the conveyor belt system. So let's put in right here. Yeah, I think that'll work out pretty good. We're going to start building pretty quickly here. We get enough laborers again that I'm going to pump that back up to 2 on the builders. And, as you can see, we are out of tools. This isn't good, but we do have 50 iron stored away, so we can probably go ahead and get our tool maker up and going. It requires stone, and I think that is iron ore. Oh, let's take a look here. Yes, that's iron ore. We have a ton of iron ore, so that shouldn't be a problem. So, let's see. So we're going to go ahead and build our blacksmith. I'm going to put him over here somewhere. Down here. I think that'll work out pretty good. And then that'll allow him to cut out a little bit here, give us a little bit more of an influx on some of our materials too. So there's a good reason to build among the materials. Where they have to do actually removal of materials. Running out of tools, that's not good. What are food? 1,409 food. It's considering actually reducing the number of people working at these things, but for now I think we could actually leave it be. Oh, we get lots of frogs eggs. That's good. So we get turtles, like reeds, clay and sand. We need clay to make like bricks, and we need sand to make glass. But we shouldn't need that right away. And tools are generic. You should keep that in mind. You're not making like a pitchfork, a hoe, a shovel. You know, you're just making a tool, and the tool can be utilized for anything. It's kind of like the sonic screwdriver of Doctor Who in medieval times. It's a tool that does anything. And if you don't know what the sonic screwdriver is in Doctor Who, you need to go and watch Doctor Who. Let's see. Okay, so we've got our sawmill up and going, and can make lumber, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pump him up there. And we got a 200 material limit, so he's already at his limit, so we don't want that. We need to pump that up there. All materials are considered material, so there's that could be lumber, but it could also be like the building supplies and that kind of thing. Sand, clay, that kind of deal. So we got to keep an eye on that. Let's see. Blacksmith is still working here. Finally got a little bit of a little town going. Like I said, I really want to get rid of a lot of this as time goes on, but we're not quite at the point where we can do that just yet. Let's extend this out. Eventually we're going to come all the way out here, so we'll just extend that road out as need be, but really we need this guy up and going. I want to say that even without tools that they might still build, they just do it really, really slow. And so that's something we got to keep in mind. And we got 24 wools. Okay, here we go. Got our builder. So we're going to pump him up. Let's see what we got here. Oh, cool. So, even though we only have 50 iron and we make iron tools, we can make rough tools with iron ore, so that's good to know. Hopefully we won't have to worry about that. Hopefully by the time we get to the point where we need that, we'll have our iron production up and going. To do that, we have to have the lumber, and he has made 63 lumber. So let's see. Forge. Ooh. So that's how we make choice. I think cannons and stuff like that are nothing more than for beauty and stuff. Metalsmith. That's cool. Melting house. This is our smelter bay. I'll have to have furnace fuel to do this. It might be worth going ahead and building though. And I'm gonna try to keep him, the blacksmith, just pretty much right at the same spot. We'll go ahead and build him just right here. Build him right there. And we really need to make. Let's see. Next furnace fuel. Work small fuel refiners. Let's use him. I think that'll look nice if we put it right like that, because I think those are very similar looking buildings. So we'll try that. And let's see, a reserve of tools is too low. I'm going to go ahead and close my map. I don't want to put that up right now. Our stone and our logs, and oh man, we are just running out of stuff again. At least our food's not having a problem. We got a lot of food. So let's go ahead and let's start clearing out some more of this. Oops, let's see. We'll start at the root level. Just kind of up here a little bit. So like about like that. And temporarily, this almost will certainly go away, but temporarily we're going to build a stockpile right here so they don't have to walk so far. We only have 3 laborers, and we don't have any furnace fuel, so I don't think there's any point in actually putting somebody in the smelting area yet. Once we get this up and going, good. They're still taking some stuff to it, so that's good. Hopefully there's some stone in this mess. Looks like there is a little bit of stone, so we should be okay. If not, we got a lot of stone in this area we can pick up too. We got fishermen. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce down for a fisherman. Do that, and then we'll do that. You could just reduce this one down and leave an open one, but I like to keep this under control myself. So, let's see how that does. See our barn. We got gold, gilver. I have no idea where they found that. Yep, my guess would be is the gatherers maybe found that. It's not showing up in here, but maybe the gatherers were able to find that somewhere. Possibility. And you'll notice, like, the logger, he's picking up stone and ore as well, and the reason is he's planting trees where those things are, I believe. So he has to pick those up and move them someplace. Downside to that is he's moving those somewhere far away because this. It could also be because we destroyed this stockpile. That's a possibility. Before we end here, I'm going to increase my fuel limit because once we get this guy up and going, he's going to need to be making furnace fuel. And furnace fuel and firewood, they take the same settings. See, I think those are going to merge together and look really nice. Unfortunately, I think the doors are on the side, so yeah, I like the way that looks. I don't know, what do you guys think? I like that. They're different materials, but that's okay. You know, that's the way this kind of stuff's built back in the day. So let's see, what can we make furnace fuel out of? We can make it out of firewood, fire bundles, charcoal, coke, and coal. I'm going to stick with firewood for now. Oh, furnace fuel is not considered a fuel source. It is considered a material. That is nice. That's good, but we're still going to need a lot of firewood to make our furnace fuel, so that's okay. We're going to leave it be with that. And we've got some laborers back, so that's good. We're really going to need some new houses. So next episode, houses. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this on. We're going to say iron ore, furnace fuel, make us some iron. We'll pump that up to like 300. That'll work. So there we go. They should be working now. Let's see. Just want to kind of get a look here before we end the episode. See what we got going on. We got quite a bit done this episode. I mean, keep in mind if you was doing this on your own, not talking to some, you know, recording a video, you're probably gonna play this a lot faster. Not have to deal with some of the monotony of this. So it's just taking a lot longer with me talking. But we did get a lot done. We went ahead and reduced some of our food production back as it relates to the fishermen. We put them in up in one of these buildings. We have started producing some mutton because our sheep are dying off. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. We'll talk about what we're going to do more in the next one. Food's not as big of a deal, but there's an idea of something I've got that we might show off in the food. Do something with that mutton. And then we're making some lumber, and we're going to use it to produce some better buildings. So anyways, I believe that is it for this episode. If you like what you're seeing, click the thumbs up button. If you don't like what you're seeing, click that thumbs down button. But please leave a comment. Let me know what you don't like so that I can try to improve. And if you do like what you're seeing, click that subscribe button, and I hope to see you next time.